Hello, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the 2010 shipment times for continuous improvement spring 2020. This is me, I'm your presenter, Pete Smith. I'm a senior with manufacturing and industrial management. A little bit about my background. I have experience in different facets of a variety of industries. 10 years in the retail/restaurant industry, where I started as a dishwasher at a pizza shop in high school. A few years later, I was the general manager of a top 10 grossing Boston market restaurant with 75 direct reports. I owned my own pizza shop at one point as well. I was involved in the industrial trades. I owned and operated a small construction trades company. I was also the owner of a rotational molding company, and rotational molding is a thermoforming concept. The last 20 years or so, I've been in operations management, ranging from rotational molding into the oil and gas industry, where I work currently. In that industry, oil and gas, I worked in a variety of roles, from individual contributor to leadership. So an outline of today, we'll have our introduction, background, methodology, go over our results, find our conclusions, and do some takeaways. So during the year 2010, there were substantial shipment issues. The purpose of this study is to enumerate those issues, collate the information we find, identify the major causes of the shipment issues, and then begin to determine the root causes of those issues. Our methodology was pretty simple. We used the raw data. It's the best source of information since it was in the past. We looked at a multi-tiered approach. We mapped over the entire year. We identified the on-time and late shipment percentages. Then we identified which month or months seemed to stand out, with a goal of a deep dive into that worst month. We parsed the data to determine the overall causes of the late shipments. Jumping into our results, what you see here is our annual shipment trend. Starts in January through December, starts out with 100, and we wind up with 93. This is our trend, our average line, which was 99 per month. Our highest shipment month was May with 122. Brings us to our results here of on-time percentage, which is green because that's where we make our money, is delivering things on time. It's very sporadic. We had a good month here in March, really poor month in May, which we'll see some more information about that shortly. This is a trend comparison for our on-time shipments to late shipments, with our total in black above. You can see here the May was our largest month of shipments, which was also our largest month of late shipments. The green line, which is the on-time, was a little more flat. We had a couple bumps here, but mostly flat, with the biggest variance being in the late shipments. Here we have our annual shipments, late shipments, with our monthly late shipment causes also. So in May, here again, we have 71 late shipments. In May, we can see our causes. We have missing parts, failed inspection, capacity, broken tools, and engineering changes. So if we have a tie here between a couple of those results, and we'll get into that in just a few moments. So for May, our biggest offender, 58.2% of the shipments were late, which leaves only 41.8% to be on time. There's a lot of red on that page, so what we want to do is look at the causes of the late shipments and then further dive into those to see what we can do to fix them. We know the Pareto principle is that 20% of your issues cause 80% of your problems. Here, we not only have 20%, we have 25% of our issues are missing parts, and 25% are broken tools. So over 50% of our late shipment causes lie in those two areas. For more detail, we have our fishbone diagram here of late causes with our 5 major causes here: missing parts, broken tools, engineering changes, capacity issues, and failed inspection. We've highlighted in red the two highest number of causes: missing parts and broken tools, with 4 root causes for each major cause identified. From this, we came up with a plan of action for those 2 main issues: broken tools and missing parts. This is our outline of plan of action for broken tools. Our 4 minor issues are tool quality, tool misuse, tool overuse, and improper tool maintenance. For tool quality, we really want procurement and operations to take the lead on this. Procurement's going to do some investigation on the quality of the tool through the vendors and investigate additional vendors. And operations is going to provide feedback on the information they find and then the decision that we need to make. Misusing, overusing, and improper maintenance, those all have a common thread that run through them. A lot of it has to do with training, and if the employees don't understand what they're supposed to do, exactly how they're supposed to do it, then they're not going to, which is going to lead to issues. So we're going to need the team leads to figure out if we need to schedule training. We need to do follow-up assessments, knowledge assessments, and actual skill assessments. For overuse, we want to find out, well, what exactly is overuse and what is proper duration of a tool. We may be overusing them by default. We could relate this overuse to misuse as well. On maintenance, we need to know what the proper storage is, how the tools need to be placed and stowed when not in use, proper lubricating, and this could be addressed in training as well. So our major takeaway here is that we need proper training and follow-up, and that's our key element to improvement for broken tools. The team lead is going to be the biggest contributor here. They're going to work with HR or the training liaison to review our current onboarding and preliminary training program, develop and implement a plan for ongoing training. We also want them to present a plan to management for approval and ultimately for funding. Our next biggest or equal cause of late shipments is missing parts. We've identified poor organization, material handling deficiencies, slow restock, and incorrect orders as some of the major causes. We want the operations lead for poor organization to identify some organizational roadblocks and unless help from outside the department for a cold eye review, because sometimes we get involved in what we're doing and we can miss some details. Team lead is going to perform a survey of workers to identify pain points in organization of their workstations. And then the operations lead and the team lead will need to work together to develop a plan to improve the organization at our largest opportunity workstations. Material handling deficiencies goes hand in hand with slow restock. Likely they're related. The team leads need to identify bottlenecks with parts delivery to the workstations. And the operations lead will need to work with internal logistics to get a better plan for getting parts to the workstations on time. If new or different equipment is needed, they'll need to present a plan to management for funding. Incorrect orders, we're going to lean a lot on operations again, but mainly on procurement. They can work with their vendors to ensure timely deliveries, see if there's anything we can do to help our vendors get the stuff to us on time. They need to develop a framework of additional vendors if necessary. If we're having trouble with one vendor or 2 vendors, we need to have a 3rd or a 4th so that we can lean on them in times of crisis when we have trouble getting parts from them. They need to review their purchase order history and identify any opportunities to smooth out the ordering. Maybe we're ordering too much wait for a certain inventory level before we order more. We need to work on that stuff. And then we want them to actually look and see if there's any pain points on the side of procurement when it comes to ordering. Maybe the ordering process is very arduous, difficult, takes a long time, things get missed, things of that nature, but that we're going to rely on procurement to let us know about that. So after all of our plan, we've come to our conclusions here, and that there are many opportunities throughout the company to improve shipment times, as we saw on our 5 major causes. But we chose to narrow in and get a laser focus on what happened in May, since that was our biggest detractor of positive shipment times. Once we've addressed those problems that we found in our biggest month, we believe we'll have a good place to start towards picking away at the smaller item issues. So our takeaways here, our major takeaways, is that operations and procurement need to follow this plan of action outline and provide a weekly status report to management. And management needs to support the improvement efforts by way of providing visual support throughout the company for the improvement initiatives. We need everyone to know that management's behind these initiatives so that we can get buy-in. We need to tell them the why so that they will do the what. Management also needs to work and provide budgeting for the necessary training and the facility improvements. If we go through this process, it would be a waste not to push forward with at least the majority of these initiatives. I thank you very much for your time and have a good day.